Welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube and Instagram, with new episodes on Tuesdays. All right, so we are talking about the harsh light of day. I love this episode.
It was a harsh light.
Yes, so many. I love the title is like multi-meaning or whatever. Oh God, it was so good. I love this episode. And you said you liked it, right? You texted me.
I did. I actually really. I'll be honest with you. The first two episodes, I was like, I don't know. This is fine, whatever. And then this episode, I was like, okay. And now we're back in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Poor Kimmy. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So The Harsh Light of Day originally aired October 19th, 1999, written by Jane Espenson, who we love, and directed by James A. Contner. And the synopsis is, the underworld version of Sid Vicious, Spike, returns to Sunnydale in search of the vampire version of the Holy Grail, a mythical relic that supposedly engenders the wearer with unimaginable powers, and it's up to Buffy to stop him. Meanwhile, Buffy is distracted by dating issues as she deals with her feelings for a new boy who happens not to be a blood-sucking vampire, but is equally as difficult to understand. Xander has romance issues of his own. When his prom date from last spring, Anya can't get the X-Man out of her mind.
Oh my God. Okay.
X-Man.
Yeah, I guess so. Weird, but okay. Makes him sound so cool.
It really does.
And Xander, like...
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's a lid for every pot. I guess he's Anya's lid. So we don't get any kind of previously on or anything like that. So we start at the Bronze, and the Dingoes Eat My Baby are playing.
Yeah, this is a good song, actually. Just throw that out there. I quite liked it.
It was good. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to like...
There's like a female singer.
Oh, you're talking about Biff Naked later on at the house party.
Oh, sorry. Yep, you're right. Confuse those two.
Yeah.
This band is also good, though.
Yeah. And Willow and Buffy are sitting at a table watching them play. Willow's kind of talking to Buffy about Parker. Because apparently they've been hanging out all week.
They have been, and she doesn't want to crowd him.
Yeah, because they both happen to be at the Bronze together.
I wanna take a moment to delve into this. I like when she said that, I was like, oh, that's like kind of cute. And by the end of the episode, I was like, this is stupid. Like, why should she feel like she doesn't have to crowd him? Why are there these stupid games with dating where you feel like you have to like follow some strict guideline if you want to have someone like you? It's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because they've been hanging out all week. And, they just happened to, but they didn't come together to the Bronze, so she doesn't even want to talk to him because that might seem too eager and she
doesn't want to seem too eager.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh yeah, there's all this subtext that she
Exactly.
feels like she has to follow.
Stupid. Anyway.
Willow is all for it. She's like, he has a reflection, so this is good.
Yeah, exactly.
See his reflection,
she likes Parker, and I mean, at this point, I did too. I thought he seemed like a great guy.
I know. He gets a little heavy-handed even for me, like before like the other shoe drops, but he does get a little bit like eye rolly at some points.
But I mean,
later
at
on,
this point here, yes. I still like him.
Even like the first half of the episode,
he seems
like,
great.
Really like, what a great dude.
Yep,
that should be your first red flag.
I guess. Yeah, he doesn't have enough beige flags.
Too good to be true, right? Yeah. So they're talking about him. Willow is very on board, like I said.
Yeah.
And Oz's band finishes. Oz comes around, and they're gonna pack up and leave. And Parker comes over to say, "Hey, I'm leaving. I just thought maybe you'd want to walk back to your dorm room."
Which is so cute. I was like, yeah, great. She didn't want to crowd him, so he came to her, and he's like, "Hey, let's do this thing." Like, that's cute.
And like looking out for her.
Yep.
Like about her safety
being
and stuff, thinking about her.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Buffy's like, yeah, okay.
Showing that he cares.
Yeah. So it was, everybody's happy. So Buffy and Parker leave to walk to her dorm. In the back of the Bronze, Willow, Oz, and Devin are packing up the van with the
Dingoes Ate My Baby?
Yeah, like their equipment, the band equipment.
Yeah.
And Oz and Devin go back in for something. And Harmony comes up to Willow. So we see Harmony again.
Yeah,
Were you surprised to see Harmony?
I was very surprised to see Harmony.
Because we did
especially because
her bit.
They talked at graduation, right?
Yeah,
They
it
had that like
happened.
little like, oh, we should have got to know each other better or whatever,
Hmm.
that fake nice, which was actually nice, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, okay.
Hmm.
So I was surprised to see her. Yes, I thought I was pretty sure we would just never see her again.
Did you remember that she got bitten at graduation?
No.
Okay, because I remember specifically, I said, okay, Harmony gets bit. It's okay. You probably,
Oh,
I mean, fine, you didn't remember it, but I knew that she became a vampire, so I knew like when they showed her getting bit,
this was
that
shocking
was
to
gonna
me.
turn
My
into
jaw
something
dropped.
good.
Had you been sitting beside me on the couch, this would have been a good, like, you would have been having fun watching my reactions to this whole episode.
I know. I wish we could watch more episodes together because I just,
Yeah, this was a really good one.
I would get a, what's the word I'm looking for? I would get a kick out of watching you watch them.
Yeah.
Watching you watch them. Yeah, so she's like, hey, I haven't seen you since graduation. And, you know, they're kind of talking, and Harmony says, yeah, I wanted to go to France, but I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
They're kind of talking, and Willow says, like, yeah, like the museum. She's like, oh, yeah, well, like, she kind of meant the shops. So, very Cordy moment here.
Yeah, it was. She's like Cordy late.
She is. And, yeah, she's like, oh, you haven't changed. And she's like, well, a little bit. And then she, like, vamps.
She bites Willow.
She's a vampire. And, yeah, just goes right in for the kill and bites her. And then we come back from the credits, and Oz comes out and saves Willow. They has like a cross.
God,
and
he has a cross. Yeah.
They get Harmony off.
And Harmony
Willow
says, "Oh yeah, sorry, no, go ahead."
No, go ahead.
I think it comes after what you're about to say though, so you go first.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Oh, like Willow's, I don't know, Willow's kind of mean or something to Harmony, and Harmony's like, "Wait till my boyfriend, he's gonna be mad at you."
Yeah. Harmony's like, yeah, hide behind your boyfriend because Oz came back out to save her. Well, I have a boyfriend too, and he's gonna be mad that you were mean to me.
Yeah.
And then she like runs off.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I didn't give it much thought, to be honest. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a lot of like fun little like in these episodes.
Yeah,
like,
it really
some
does.
good, some bad, some just a pure surprise.
Yeah.
So in the street we see Parker and Buffy like walking back, and they're just getting to know each other, and they're talking about hobbies. And Buffy doesn't really have any that she can talk about, right? Because like fighting evil isn't something she can talk about on this like pre-first date walk. He sees her scar on her neck, which is obviously from Angel, and she has to say it was from an angry puppy.
Weird.
And Parker kind of talks about how his dad passed away last year, and how it really taught him to live in the moment because his dad had a lot of like unfinished business. There's a lot of things his dad didn't get to finish, so he really like doesn't put things off anymore. And Buffy can relate because she says like, you know, when she drowned a couple years ago, like, so she gets it because she has died technically.
Yeah.
So she does think about that. So they have a connection here, and he asks her to a house party the next day, and she's like very happy about being invited. Yeah. So things are moving along.
Like a real date, like a relationship thing is happening here.
And the way he asked her was actually really adorable.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. When she says, okay, Parker Abrams, like, what are you going to regret not doing when you go to bed tonight? And he's like, I'll regret not asking you to the party.
Yeah.
And
it's like
out
of an 80s movie. It's adorable.
Yeah, it's really cute. And Buffy is so smitten. Like, she's like so like,
he is.
She's really into him.
Who wouldn't be?
I know, right?
I got smitten with him for her.
I know. And he's really cute too.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the dark hair and everything, which is my
type.
So we go to Giles's, and Xander is helping Giles out for some cash.
But he doesn't understand Giles's crazy system. And
alphabetical order.
The alphabet.
He's like, oh yeah, so it is.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know why Giles, well, I guess he's probably the only one that's available. Like, who else are you going to hire that would know that you could, like, talk to about this, like, stuff?
Weird books.
Yeah, like occult stuff. Woo! Like occult stuff. And Anya just walks into Giles's apartment.
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
okay.
just opens the door. And she wants to talk to Xander. And she tells Giles to go away. And he's like, he doesn't say this, but it's like, this is my house. You just walked in. So she drags Xander out into the courtyard. And she wants to know, like, where their relationship stands. And he's like...
What relationship?
Relationship question mark?
Yeah.
Like, what? We just went to the prom together. Like, we're not in a relationship.
Nope.
And yeah, it's obvious. Like, she says, I can't stop thinking about you. Like, I assume we're just going to start dating now. And like, we'll go out on Fridays and our anniversary will be a prom date. And he's like, whoa,
Mm-mm.
whoa, this just kind of has to like happen naturally. You can't just
And
like mush people
also,
together.
she was the one that left at the graduation thing. She's like, bye.
Yeah, she did. She pieced
Think she can
out.
just waltz back in and pick up where she left off. And
Yeah,
I mean, she's
obviously
not even
does.
picking up where she left off because there was nothing to pick
Yeah,
up.
pick up. Yeah. Yeah, so Xander, she obviously is infatuated with him. And
Weirdly.
him, not so much for her, which
No.
is different. It was a role reversal for Xander.
And I would like to say on like for Xander, I mean, at least I feel like he's honest with her the whole time. Like even when they went to prom and stuff, he lays his emotions out for her. Like he tells her when he's not sure about things and like this is weird and like why do you like me and like okay, whatever. So
Yeah.
he's not like leading her on or
I was just gonna,
anything.
that was the phrase I was gonna, he has not let her on
Nope.
at
He's been
all.
honest.
He has. Yeah. So good for him.
So
He's
she's kind
the
of
one honest guy in this
making
episode.
things up in her head almost, I feel like.
Yeah,
a
she
little
just
bit.
wants, well, because she's an ex-demon, she like doesn't understand how, she's not been
Relationships work.
human for so long
Uh,
that she doesn't understand how this would come about. She just
Right.
knows that she is having warm, sticky feelings for him, and that's it. Like, and they should just start
but
seeing each other.
I feel like I'll be honest. I have been in Anya's shoes where I have felt like I barely known someone went on like a date with them and I'm like, great, we're gonna have an anniversary next year. I've been in her shoes. I get
Yeah. At some point in the show, Anya is all of us.
it.
At some point. Yeah, so they kind of just leave it there. Because they're not really,
Yeah.
he doesn't really understand where she's coming from.
No, it's weird.
And Buffy's dorm outside, Oz and Willow come up and kind of interrupt an almost kiss
Mm-hmm.
that Parker and Buffy are going to have. And Willow's holding her neck. So, like, she actually got properly bitten. Like,
Yeah,
it wasn't
she
like a
did.
close call. She got
That's
bitten.
crazy.
Yeah. And she kind of says, oh, we saw Harmony again. And Buffy's not getting it. She's like paler and all of this. And then Buffy's like, nah.
Angry puppy.
Angry puppy. Yeah. Pale, neck, angry puppy. The angry puppy's back. So she gets rid of Parker. And they go into the room because they had to bandage up Willow's neck for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She said she was going to like sick her boyfriend on me. Like, if you could even believe if she has a boyfriend. I like what she said. Because, like, in high school, she'd be like, oh, you wouldn't know him. He goes to a different school.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I was like, pull that, you know.
Yeah. But then catch
I
the
mean,
next scene and
yeah. And well, Buffy says dating Harmony dead, that must be the most tolerant guy in the world. And then we go to the tunnels where Harmony's boyfriend is Spike. Were you surprised?
I was shocked. And I don't know why, because I feel like I know that he's going to be in later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's going to stick around at this point or if he's going to go and come back again or what. But I wasn't expecting to see him.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty like good lead in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and Spike we find out Spike's plan for being in Sunnydale, and he is tunneling into a crypt. That's all we know at this point. He's tunneling trying to get into a crypt.
And Harmony really bugs him a lot.
Yeah, she wants Spike to go kill Willow because she was mean to her. So she needs to kill everyone that's been mean to her. And yeah, she really annoys him.
Yeah, she's annoying.
Incredibly, yeah, good she is. And it's obvious that like they're together, but he doesn't really care about her. Like the way the way he was with Drew and the way he is with Harmony
different.
is very polar opposites.
I guess I assume that like a guy like Spike would just be like that in relationships. Like he would just want to be in it to win it and just love somebody even if it was like to his detriment, basically. But seeing him with Harmony, I'm like, that's not the case.
It's because she's a bed warmer to him.
I
Like
guess so.
there's no affection or like there's no love.
No.
If he is in love with someone, that is I think an accurate description of how he is in a relationship.
I just didn't picture him to be the type of person to have bed warmers, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's on the rebound.
Yeah.
So he's not that Parker's Buffy's bed warmer, but there's a few people on the rebound in this episode, right? That are looking for new stuff to take their to move on from their old stuff. And Harmony is definitely a rebound thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's really annoying him. And she keeps complaining about she wants to go to a party, and he like gets rough with her. But then they're like, it's kind of like foreplay-ish.
Yeah, it's weird.
And he says, yeah, I will take you to a party tonight. Okay, so we're at Wolf House for the house party, and this is where Biff Naked is playing.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Good
Did you ever
band.
listen to them? Like, and then
I did. Okay. I think it's hilarious that they're at a house party.
Yeah. I mean, they're supposed to be like, and they didn't change their name or anything. So yeah, I don't know if they're supposed to be like a alternate version of themselves where they would be a band that would be playing college house party. But yeah, okay. So Biff Naked's there, and Buffy and Parker are hanging out. They're just kind of like get to the party. Nothing much happens.
Yeah.
Before they run into Spike and Harmony.
And this is quite a shock to Buffy.
Yeah, and to Spike.
And to Spike, yeah, that was actually a really funny scene watching everybody's reactions.
And they have this like party goer like in between them who's obviously they've been feeding on him, and he's kind of like partially conscious. And I love the like barbs that they trade back and forth. He's like, "Oh, Spike, you're with Harmony. Would you lose a bet?" And then Spike's like, "Let's look at the new boy," and he's got a vulnerability, like, you know, he's human, and they like just trade barbs at each other.
I mean, yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah," and it's funny, like, and he just throws that boy at them in the middle of a sentence and runs for the hills. So Buffy's like, "Stay here," to Parker, runs after them, and she's like outside by the bushes.
Okay over there?
So funny. And like just grabs Spike out of the bushes because he's like hiding in there, and they have a little like punch each other. And she's like, what's wrong, Spike? Drew dump you again? He's like, maybe I dumped her. And then Harmony comes and says, she left him for a fungus demon. That's all he talks about most days. So he has been dumped, and he's like, stop, what are you saying? Be quiet. Yeah, Harmony is spilling all of Spike's tea, and he's not happy about it. And he's like, yes, we're going to leave. It's not time for you yet. And Harm again messes up by saying, yeah, once we get the gem of Amara, we're going to be... And then Spike just drags her away, and he's so mad, so angry. So yeah, she just totally gave Buffy the whole game plan. In Xander's basement, Anya comes over, and she wants to talk some more.
And he's hanging a disco ball.
Yeah, he's hanging a disco ball. He's trying to make it homey. Basically, he's like, okay, we can talk. We talk. Do you want anything? And he like has like cran apple juice.
That's cute.
And he turns around, and she's just taking all her clothes off.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. At Giles's, kind of like at the party at Giles's, Buffy calls Giles to just tell him about the Gem of Mora. That
he said it's like not real.
Yeah, he says like a myth, like the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
But obviously Spike thinks it's in Sunnydale, so he is going to like look into it and do some more research. And he's like, okay, Buffy, like that's all you can do tonight, so just go ahead and go to bed. She's like, okay. She just hangs at the payphone, goes back into the party. She's like, sure, yes, very tired.
Bed. Yes.
Yes. In the lair, Harmony and Spike fight, but then again, it like turns into foreplay.
Yeah.
Basically, nothing is revealed in the scene. It just like Spike is also studying like the schematics of like the tunneling, and she keeps bothering him and bothering him and bothering him. And then they basically just do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I have for that scene.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
There's a lot of doing it in this episode. I don't know if there's ever more doing it in an episode. If I can think. In Xander's basement, so Anya is there naked and tells him that she wants to sleep with him to like get over him. She thinks if we just do it, we can move on.
Bang him out of her system.
Bang it up, yeah. Bang him out of her system. I like when she says like, the line she has like, I think it's crazy to have these interlocking bodies and not interlock. I'm like, hey, there's logic for you. She's got a point.
Yeah.
Like, hey, our pieces fit together.
And I mean,
why are we not doing this?
Still going to be more romantic than with Faith, right?
Yeah. He says, yeah, this is still more romantic than Faith.
It's true.
Yeah. He's not going to say no. So he just is like, okay, that sounds fine.
Yeah.
Back at the party, Buffy finds Parker and it's like, oh, sorry, that was my friend. Like, he's not supposed to be drinking. And obviously he's at a party with drinking, so I had to like help him. And he's like, oh, that was nice of you. And he's like, did you guys used to date? And she like hysterically laughs. Like, no, we never dated. And he's happy to hear that. So they dance, and they kiss, and they have a little conversation talking about, again, the whole, like, living for now, living in the
And
moment.
also his major is history, which I found weird.
Yeah, he went from pre-med to history.
That's a red flag.
Really? Is it?
I mean, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Everybody, some people have different red flags. So they start, like, kissing, and he says, like, what are you doing? And she says, making a choice. So, like, she's like, she's going for it. She's committing to it.
She gives him the go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He asks in fairness. So
yeah, he says, is this okay?
Yep.
First of all. And she
Consensual.
says yes. And then later, a little later, he says, like, what are you doing? Like, he very communicating well. Like, he's...
No pressure, no...
Yeah, like, no red flags at this point. Ugh. We're such sweet summer children. Okay. And then while there's, like, this little montage of, like, Buffy and his Parker going to his room and slowly taking her clothes off and all that. And Giles finds something in his books, calls Buffy. She doesn't answer because she's not there.
Obviously.
She's otherwise engaged. But he says, like, for her to call him. So in Parker's room the next day, Buffy wakes up alone the next morning.
And I wrote in my notes, she wakes up alone. And I wrote, sex, what could possibly go wrong in my notes? Because I'm like, already, shit.
Yeah. Okay, so there's two parallels between this scene and the one with Parker and the one with Angel. So
I didn't even think about that. She woke up alone there too,
She woke up alone and red sheets both times.
Red sheets both times?
Yeah.
Oh.
Angel and Parker both had red sheets.
Huh. Interesting. Do you think they did that on purpose?
I think so.
Huh.
Because they were obviously trying to mirror... This whole Parker post-sex thing is mirroring her experience with Angel, in a way.
Damn.
Because even later she says, what happens? You just sleep with a guy, every guy you sleep with turns evil? Like, it's very much like trying to mirror that by her, like, waking up alone and the red sheets, and then her even saying that connection later on. So, yeah, she wakes up, she's just like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna get dressed, looking for clothes. And then Parker comes in and with coffee, and we're like,
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Everything's okay.
Like, that's really cute that he went and got coffee for her. That's so sweet.
He's like, I thought you were going to be sleeping. Look like you were really going to be sleeping. So I went out and got his coffee. And she's like, you're relieved for her that, he didn't just take off.
Thank God. Yep.
His mom's coming to visit that day, so they can't really hang out. But he says he'll call her.
He says he'll call her later, as in that day.
Yeah, he'll call her later. I would say, like, at least, like,
I think
if it's not that day, then the next day.
But I think he said, I'll call you later today. I think he said that.
I mean, regardless if he said later or later today, like, it went further than was appropriate. You know what I mean? I think we can agree on that. So he's going to call her later. And so, yeah, she's happy and leaves. At Xander's, Anya and Xander have, like, an awkward after moment. So they've slept together.
What is this awkward moment? Does this mean they didn't enjoy it? Like, what were those facial expressions? I was trying to understand what they were trying to convey here.
I feel like he's still, like, confused.
Okay,
and, like, what is going on here? This woman is so strange, and she just comes in here and wants to have sex with me, and I'm not going to say no, so I just do it. So that's where he's going. Mm-hmm. And I think Anya has realized, okay, this didn't help. If anything, it probably made it worse.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why she says, okay, well, I'm over you. And he's like, okay, like, confused. And she's like, okay, and gets up and leaves. Like, that's not the answer she wanted. Because it turns out,
she's not
it didn't get rid of him, and that's why he's like, all right, or whatever he says. He's confused. So he, like, doesn't know what to do with her. Okay. Well, he figured out what to do with her. But, I think he's just, like, super confused about her and the whole situation. And she's just, like, didn't get the result she wanted.
Yeah, okay. That sucks.
Yeah. So she storms off. In the lair, Spike, Harmony's, like, drawing on Spike's back as he's laying there. Spike loves Harmony. And he's not happy about it. And he's, like, so annoyed at her. And he's like, I gotta get back to work. And this is like, very, like, telling when she's like, you love that tunnel more than me. And he's like, I love syphilis more than you.
Yeah, that was
like, there's no emotional connection between them.
Yeah.
It's literally, for her there is.
Yeah, I was
but for him,
she feels like she's connected.
Purely physical.
Yeah.
She's just there.
Yeah.
So we go to, and he just storms off, and she sitting there again, just kind of like hurt.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, in Buffy's dorm, Buffy comes
She
home.
does the walk of shame first.
Does the walk of shame coming in. Starts taking her clothes off, and then, whoop, Giles is here. Whoop, 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 put that back on. She gets changed.
Oopsies.
And it's funny because she, like, tries to be like, I was in the library studying all Saturday night, and he's just like, I don't believe you. And she's like,
Also, he doesn't care.
yeah, and yeah, when she says, I'm an adult, it's not your business to know where I was. And he's like, great. Now can I tell you why I came over for? He doesn't even want to hear it. He doesn't even want to know.
No.
Yeah, but so yeah. So the reason he came over was to say that the gem of Amora may actually be real, and it could be in a sealed crypt somewhere in Sunnydale.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be some validity to Spike trying to find this. So they're going to assemble the troops and do more research, and Buffy is going to try to find Spike before he can find the gem. So that's kind of the plan. So Giles leaves, and of course Willow's like, tell me what happened. Oh my God, you guys slept together, didn't you? They have a little girl talk. And Buffy's like, yeah. And she, like, has nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
About the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Willow's all giddy, and Buffy is, like, seems really happy. So, yeah. And she's gonna wait for his call. In the lair, Spike is drilling and finds, like, the bottom of the crypt. And he's like, okay, yeah. Everybody has to stay in the lair because we don't want the Slayer, like, tracking you back here and blow the whole thing. And, of course, this causes problems between Spike and Harmony again, mm-hmm. because Harmony's like, you said you were going to take me to France, and now I can't even leave the lair, and
she keeps going on and on about France this whole episode.
Yeah. Yeah, and they get in a fight again. Yeah, so this is like...
He gets really angry, though. Like, he gets angry, like, scary angry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very physical with her.
Yeah.
This is not a good relationship.
No.
Yeah. So then we go to a montage of Buffy looking for Harmony because she figures like she has a picture of Harmony in the yearbook, and that will lead her to Spike. So she's going around campus, asking students if they've seen Harmony, and intermittent with her checking her messages. No messages. No messages.
Parker's not calling.
He's not calling, and then also that Spike is getting closer to the crypt. So this is all happening at the same time. So Spike finally gets into the crypt, and there's, like, a lot of, like, treasure, kind of.
Yeah, like, coins and...
Yeah, there's a crown and all kinds of cool stuff. And he thinks So we're like, what... I know I kind of, like, spoiled it because I said there was a ring, but it's really a gem that's set in the ring. The ring isn't the thing, it's a gem. So it couldn't... So right now Spike's like, it can't be anything in here.
Yeah, who knows what it is.
Yeah. So he thinks he finds something that looks pretty gemmy, like a big gem on it, and it's like a necklace, and he thinks he found it. And Harmony comes in, and he's like, just take whatever you want. Like, I'm looking for one thing, just go. Take stuff. So she's just putting on a crown and, like, jewelry and, like, taking all this stuff.
Fun.
Yeah, and he tests out the gem on a cross, and it doesn't work because he gets sizzled, burnt by the cross. And Harmony says, oh, well, maybe it's worth something, and then we can go to France, and this...
This sets him off.
He breaks, like, a chair leg off or something and stakes her.
Yeah, he's the worst. Oh, my God.
He stakes her, and, yeah, she just heals.
Yep.
She heals immediately.
She's wearing the gem of Amara.
She's wearing the gem. And then he tests it again, like, with the cross, and she doesn't react at all to it. So he tries to take it off of her, and she gives it to him, and, like, they kind of fight, because she's like, God, you don't even... Obviously, like, you just staked me.
Yeah.
She's not happy. And so he just takes it and says, okay, I'm going to go, and leaves. So Harmony is putting up with a lot.
She looks pretty upset.
Yeah, she is. At Giles's, this is a funny scene. So first we get Oz looking through Giles's records, and he's like, really likes... I feel like Oz and Giles would have similar taste in music. Like Ripper type of Giles, not like Rupert Giles, if you know what I mean. And he's saying, like, oh, nothing in there is as important as what we're, like, dealing with or whatever. And Oz, I almost said Seth. Oz shows, like, well, what about this one? And it's Loaded by Velvet Underground is the record. He's like, well, like, maybe that one is as important as everything we're doing. So they're moving boxes, and they see that Giles has a TV.
And they're like shocked. I mean, I was a little bit shocked too.
Shocked and disappointed. And Willow says, well, maybe it doesn't work. It's like art. And it turns on and she's like, oh. And Giles has to defend himself. And he's like, it's for public television.
He watches the news.
PBS.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved it. Everybody was like, I love when Xander says, hey, Giles has a TV. He's shallow like us. I loved that. That was so funny. So they put the news on, and there's been like a sinkhole that's opened up in Sunnydale. And they're saying, even though the city says there's no tunneling going on in that area, that's probably the cause. So like some unauthorized tunneling. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Spike's up to this. Is probably a Spike up to this. So at the camp, and they go, they're all going to try to find Buffy. They're going to go to find the crypt, and Xander has to try to go find Buffy. That's where we leave that scene. So at the campus, Buffy sees Parker talking to a girl.
And he's talking about his dad, giving her the same spiel that he gave Buffy. What?
Yeah, the exact same lines.
And then Buffy. She walks up, and she's just like, hey. And he just like, he looks surprised for a second, but then he recovers very quickly.
He does.
And he's just like, oh, this is my friend so-and-so, and blah, blah. Like, they just acts like nothing has happened.
Like he's done this before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's got it down to a science?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Buffy's like, oh, I didn't hear from you. And he's like, well, it's only been a couple days. But, and everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. And Buffy's like, okay, I'm happy again. And then she wants to do something tonight. He's like, oh, I can't. And then she's like, something's up. Like, she does like boing, 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 boing. Like, poor thing. It's like emotional tennis for her. And basically it comes down to like, he's interested in her, but...
Sexually.
And he doesn't want to be her boyfriend. And Buffy's like, oh God, okay, I thought this was going somewhere.
Yeah, of course she would, because of the way he acted.
Yeah. So Buffy just feels like so embarrassed, I think.
Yeah, and he said he had fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Oh, what an asshole.
And then she goes after him again, being like, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the situation. Like, poor Buffy.
Just let it go. Yeah. He sucks, and you're better than him.
Yeah, so she just, it was just a humiliating situation the whole way around for Buffy.
Yeah.
He's like, it's cool, I gotta go, but we'll talk later. Like, okay. And then Spike kind of says what's all in her mind. He's like, well, that was pathetic.
Yeah, he just he hits on her vulnerability. Yeah.
Yeah, and he punches her. We're like, holy crap, Spike's in the sun. So they have this really like kind of like cool fight scene.
Yeah.
And they're fighting in the sun. Yeah. Which is so cool.
She tries to stake him and she can't.
Yeah, like when he's like, oh, dude, again, it tickles or something like that. And he heals. And so, she's like, the gem. Like, he's in the sunlight. I think that would have given it away already if the staking didn't do it. You know, if the sun didn't do it, I guess the staking took two things. But yeah, they just like go at it. They have like the best fight scenes, these two.
That was a really good fight scene.
And then we go to Buffy's dorm where Xander is looking for Buffy. And Anya's wandering around again and wants to talk to Xander, but he's like, she doesn't know the situation, that's going on. But he's very like brisk with her and he's like, I can't do this right now, and like leaves. And like Anya's like incredibly hurt. Like,
of course she is.
Wow, feels totally right. From our perspective, we're like, this is like a very important thing. He needs to go. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't know.
It looks like he's just blowing her off.
Exactly.
That's how it would feel to her, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can see on her face, she's just like, ouch. Slap in the face. So Oz, Willow, and Giles get to the crypt, and they find Harmony there crying.
Yeah.
And she's, like, sad, thinking that, like, I would have just given him the ring. Like, he tried to, like, take it off of her, like she wouldn't give it to him, and, like, she really loved him and all this. And then they want to know, they're trying to get information out of her, but then she's just like, okay, well, I'm not telling you that much. And then she, like, just runs out. So they do know that Spike does have the ring now. So they go back to the campus, and they're still fighting. Like, he throws her on, like, a...
shit-talking her, too, about Parker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then before that, Xander comes and sees her and tries to help. He tries to tackle Spike, and Spike's just, like, whap. And, like, just bats him off like a fly. And Xander's out of the equation. And I also love how this was, like, a hugely packed area. And now there's not a soul around.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Spike talks about Parker and Angel. So he obviously overheard the conversation that Buffy had with Parker, and he's like, "Oh, he let Parker have a poke."
He's
He's
so
like,
mean.
"Oh, he's so bad." He's like, "You fell for it, and oh, he didn't want a second go." I wonder who else told me something like that. Oh yeah, Angel. Oh, he just knows
Exactly the buttons to push.
the physical. Yeah, he knows the like emotional buttons to push with her. Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, she finally gets like, because he's pretty much like winning this whole fight,
mhm.
pretty much the whole
Well,
time.
because she's emotionally shaken.
Yeah, and she's like, just like, okay, I'm fighting you in the sunlight, and oh my god, like,
It's
came out of
disorienting.
nowhere. Came
Mhm.
out of nowhere. Sucker punched her. Yeah, so eventually she gets his hand and to pull the ring off, and he says, if you pull it off of me this way, we'll both burn. And she's like, yeah, we'll see about that. And she pulls it off, and nothing happens to her, of course. And
Yeah.
he starts like reacting to the sun. He's like, and he turns to smoke, and he jumps into the
He
sewers.
runs.
He runs.
Yeah.
So,
Spike.
yeah. So at Giles's, they have the ring there. Everyone's there, the whole gang, and they're kind of like debating what to do with it. And Giles is like, we definitely should destroy it, because
Yeah.
the Empire that
I
gets this
mean,
is.
it seems like a good idea to destroy it, to be honest.
I think
But
that's
Buffy's
still a better idea.
Like, let's give it to Angel.
Let's give it to Angel. So if Angel ever loses his soul again,
Exactly.
he will be almost unstoppable.
Also,
he was
though,
almost unstoppable before.
even if he doesn't lose his soul again, what if someone steals it from him?
True. Yeah.
Like, this is a terrible idea.
I guess she's just like, oh, this will just like, he can't die if he gets this. But there's a lot of risk giving this to Angel.
He could still die.
Yeah. So, yeah. So they just kind of, Giles says, are you sure? And she says, yes. So they're going to give the ring to Angel. So, and this is actually the first episode that's a crossover, like a tie-in with Angel. So on Angel's third episode, Oz says he's going to take it to L.A. And so Oz is in this Angel episode,
Angel
and
episode?
then
Oh, cool. Okay.
and then Spike follows him to try to get the ring.
Oh, interesting.
So Spike goes over to Angel on this episode as well. Like the next,
Okay.
it aired right after this. So as soon as this episode ended, Angel starts, and then Oz and Spike are there too.
Okay.
Just a little angel spoiler. Yeah. So nobody puts much of a fight. So at campus, Buffy and Willow are talking about Parker, and poor Buffy.
She's very upset about this. She's distraught.
There's part of her that's like, she's of two minds. She's like, yeah, obviously he manipulated me. He did this, he did that, but he's all these bad things, but he still doesn't want me. Like, and like, do you think we can still work it out? Do you think we can still work it out? And Willow's like, you're missing the point. You shouldn't want to work it out with him, because he like took advantage of you.
Yeah, he sucks. You can do better.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's just like, okay, this happened again. I slept with a guy and he went evil. Like, is this going to happen every time? So, poor Buffy.
Yeah.
She definitely, yeah, I don't know. She
I
was
mean,
like...
and this wasn't her fault. He duped her.
Oh, no, yeah.
But I can see why she feels...
Yeah, she feels like a fool.
Yeah.
Like a naive fool, I feel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Willow tries to just be like, yeah, this isn't your fault. You have no reason to feel bad. Yeah, and so Buffy's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for a walk by myself. So Willow heads home, and we have this little like I put it like sad girl walk instead of hot girl walk.
Yeah,
little
with
sad girl walk
montage.
Triangle. Yeah,
with Harmony and Anya and Buffy.
Yeah, they're all walking in the same quad, but different directions. Slowly.
That's so sad.
All because their men are mean to them.
Yeah.
All like sad women. Sad girl walk.
That was a sad.
And that was the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of, hurt women in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the episode. My favorite quote was when Willow, in that last scene, when Buffy said, you'd tell me if there was something repulsive about me, wouldn't you? And Willow says, I'm your friend. I would call you repulsive in a second. I would call you repulsive in a second. So Kimmy, don't worry. I would call you repulsive in a second if
You
I
know
felt like
what's
it was
funny
warranted.
actually is when I was watching this, I was thinking like Ashley has been my Willow. I have been in a similar situations, and Ashley's had to be like, okay, like we don't like him anyway. We can do better. He sucks. Let's move on. It's funny.
Ah,
I remember those times.
oh, that's nice. That's a
Yes.
nice
Thank you.
compliment to
Thank you
say
for
that.
being my Willow.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. Yeah. So I like she's like, I would tell you if there was something wrong with you. I'm your friend. If you're repulsive, I would definitely tell you. Don't worry about it. And then my favorite scene was the Buffy, Spike, and Harmony outside of the party. When like
Oh
Harmony,
yeah.
she dumped him for a fungus demon. He's like Harmony, and she's like, when we get the gym tomorrow, and he's like, ah. Losing his mind, and she pulls him out of the like. Did you dump you? I just thought that was it was just so funny.
It was a
Yeah,
cute scene.
this was a really funny episode, even though there was a lot of heaviness, but
Yes.
it was very funny too.
This was my favorite line before I watched the whole episode, but it was my favorite line in the moment, so I'll still use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's when they're at the party and Buffy's talking with Harper, and he says, "You always have a choice with everything you do." Just thought that
Mm-hmm.
was a really powerful line, but now I don't like it as much. But whatever,
Right.
it's fine.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it in a silo
Yeah,
with context, or like not so
yeah,
much.
yeah. And my favorite scene was actually the fight scene with Spike and Buffy. I know he was kind of a dick, but I liked how she she came back from it basically, and she
Mm-hmm.
ended up
Winning.
getting the upper hand. Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah, physically, they're like always a fun like fight to watch, and then yeah, the like barbs between them are always
Banter.
pretty
Hmm.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my stick rating was a 4.8. I love this episode. Obviously Spike's back, so I'm gonna like it. Spike's an asshole. Okay. I'm
Hmm.
saying he's not. He is horrible to Harmony.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are not here for that behavior.
God,
Say that.
no. So not okay.
Yes, no, he is not being good to Harmony at all. I do, but I feel like we get a little bit more of it. But the whole pairing of Harmony and Spike is interesting to me, and they're just funny together. I feel like they weren't so funny in this episode because it was a little bit like, yeah, I don't know. Didn't really come across in this episode. But I'll give you. We will see them together again, and like they can be funny. Can be a funny pairing. I said, all the couple angst I did enjoy. Like everyone's just unhappy, so that's entertaining to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very emotional episode.
Yeah.
While being incredibly funny, because I think it was very funny too. This is what makes a really good Buffy episode. It's like high drama, high emotion, and it's like a lot of humor as well.
Yeah.
And a great fight scene. So it has all the elements that I like about Buffy in this episode.
Yeah. I also gave it a 4.8.
Ooh.
Yeah, I actually really liked this episode. I thought the Gem of Amara was an interesting, thing.
Or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I was kind of into that. A lot of the stuff you said already, and then yeah, just like it's an emotionally charged episode. It was like I feel bad for all of the girls. I'd say Buffy's the strongest out of the three of them, and
Yeah.
Parker just really sucked. Like he really led her on. I feel like the other two girls aren't really particularly being led on. They're just, I don't know. They're
Yeah. I would say there's like not it's also like springs from there. Like it branches out from there because Anya, yes, Xander was brisk with her and that probably hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's been like very upfront,
exactly.
clear,
Yeah.
and everything. I mean, she might not like it, but she can't really be mad at him about it.
No, he's being honest. He can't help how he feels.
No, and obviously there was like stuff happening that he didn't have time to explain why he couldn't talk. So I guess she's like, oh, I hurt my feelings. And Harmony needs to just like peace out, obviously.
Yep, exactly.
She just keeps. Obviously, this isn't the first. Like, this isn't like their relationship was really, really good and then it got bad. Obviously, this is how it's been, and she's still there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she needs to skedaddle.
Yep.
Immediately, but something tells me she won't.
No. And I'm kind of curious to see if Anya's like still her role continues on in this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's got a thing for Xander, so we'll see if she
Yeah.
pursues it even more. Okay, yes, I love this episode. All right, so for your next episode called Fear Itself, it's a Halloween episode.
Ooh.
We don't get those every year, but we get one this year. And so what does Giles dress up for Halloween? I'll give you a hint.
Ooh. I like hints.
It's not like a very specific thing. Like Spider-Man is like a specific
Oh.
IP or whatever. Like okay, this is not it, but this is an example. Like a clown, like a generic. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah, okay.
not a specific character. Or
I
like
was
a
thinking
witch.
I was thinking of a cowboy, but I don't know if I want to say that.
Okay, but you're on the right track as far as like something
like
very
a
broad.
generic.
Yeah, like a generic costume. Yeah.
Um.
It's not like he's like Abraham Lincoln or something like
Okay.
super specific.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and also, you can guess that one, or you can also guess, because we get a lot of costumes in this season. So we also have Xander, Buffy, Willow, and Oz, and Anya dressing up. If you want to guess any of those two, you can.
I'm just gonna throw some things out there. Somebody's got to have dressed up at something. Okay. So we said cowboy. I'm gonna say ghost. I'm gonna say Willow dressed up as a witch. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Okay.
And then maybe she already did Ghost. Remember the other Halloween episode.
I forgot about that. Okay, you're right. Okay, so I'm gonna go with maybe Giles dressed up as a cowboy and maybe Willow dresses up as a witch.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got.
All right. Cool. So now you have two bets in instead of just one. So. All right, so that wraps up Season 4, Episode 3, The Harsh Light of Day. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl in All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with Season 4, Episode 4, Fear Itself. See you real soon.
Bye.